that wanted to relay the sentiments as to the impact that this case out of Texas has had against, her family. But I felt like that was the focal point of the conversation. There was no accountability. It was riddled with a bunch of escapism, and it embodies the same type of toxic sentiment that's being deployed by the women that continues over and over and over to encourage said black men to fail.
So can you hear me? I didn't feel that way as a mother of two black young men. I'm going to tell you what I heard. I heard a mother that was scared to death. I heard a mother that just wanted to make the record straight, that they weren't using the money for what the press. I mean, the New York Post. Okay, the New York Post had posted that these parents had spent the money on a new home, new cars, all lies. And that mother disputed it. Now, why they picked her as the spokesperson, I was in a room last night where someone said they shouldn't have let her speak. They should have let a spokesperson.
No, he did right. He did right with her speak.
Or how about the father who, we would think would be the main disciplinarian of raising young black children, especially male black children. So, I mean, it just goes to that
If you need windows, you need Climate Guard. We've been making windows in Chicago for over 45 years. Purchase with confidence, backed by our price match guarantee. Great financing available. Visit ClimateGuardWindows.com today to schedule a free in-home estimate.
Slows in the express lane and check.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Breezy this evening with a thunderstorm. Those storms could produce hail and damaging winds. Otherwise cloudy with the low 47. Cooler Saturday with clouds and sun, the high 57. Breezy with periods of rain Sunday, the high at 53. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
America is finally on the path to being great again. There's a lot to be optimistic about right now. And at almostfreeteeth.com, they're dedicated to making smiles great again. If you have medical PPO insurance, find out how you can save 90% off on average to get a beautiful dental implant supported smile. Check if you qualify right now at almostfreeteeth.com. Overpaying for dental implants is over. That's almostfreeteeth.com. For a confident smile that you've never had before. AlmostFreeTeeth.com. President Trump has made some pretty amazing claims since he's taken his seat as president. He's delivering on what he promised. On Inauguration Day, Trump's very first declaration was,
"The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish."
Consider this. Since the election, gold has shot up hundreds of dollars per ounce, shattering all-time record highs. Fox Valley Coins does not pretend to know the future, but they do know that if you're buying or selling gold or silver, they are the place to do it. These are some of the top reasons people choose a dealer. You want a national dealer with a local presence you can deal with face-to-face. You want a large selection, the best prices, and great service. You want to walk in with cash and walk out with the best product. You want to deal with legacy dealers with integrity. Whether buying or selling or just one valuation, Fox Valley Coins is your answer for choosing a dealer. Visit Fox Valley Coins, 1 light north of I-88 on Route 59 at the Naperville-Warrenville border. FoxValleyCoins.com. Family-owned integrity since 1981.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. But then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at NissanUSA.com. Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
If you need windows, you need Climate Guard. We've been making windows in Chicago for over 45 years. Purchase with confidence, backed by our price match guarantee. Great financing available. Visit climateguardwindows.com today to schedule a free in-home estimate.
This hour of the Sean Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Get top dollar for guns and military items. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Now, Jerry, don't get mad at me, Jerry. I forgot what time it was, but we got to fit this in. You're going to be happy I did too, Jerry, even though you're going to be mad a little bit. But I have a new friend of mine who called my show. What was it? It was earlier in the week. And I actually called him back, and he's a very interesting guy. He ran for Congress as a Republican, and I believe it was during my Joe Severino interview. And that's what prompted the call, and I got to talk to him, and the status of the Illinois Republican Party may even be worse than I anticipated. My new friend, his name is Max Rice. Max, how are you?
Wow, thank you so much, Sean. Great to be on the show.
Well, I appreciate it, and after we started to talk, I went to your website, which is called IllinoisRecord.com, right?
IllinoisRecord.com. Subscribe today.
IllinoisRecord.com. And you have a plethora of articles from a very, I like the style in which you write and investigate. You're exposing a lot of behind the scenes, which people need to know. Because the reason that the Republicans or so-called the people who think themselves to be Republicans, the reason that they're in a rigged game is kind of because of what you reveal on a regular basis in your articles, isn't it?
I agree. And when there's no consequences for bad behavior, it gets worse. And I just kind of noticed throughout the years that there was a lot of bad behavior that would go unchecked or get a slap on the wrist. And so I'm pretty happy of what we've been able to not just uncover, but just put out there, be on the record forever.
Well, I'm happy that you've been able to right these wrongs, and you're going to continue to do it for as long as you're here. But you didn't know it was this bad, and you decided to run, right? Tell us a little bit about your story.
It was this bad at the time. Because even when I was running, I was saying that Republicans were pedophiles and that Democrats are criminals. Was my platform. So I wouldn't say I didn't know it was this bad, but you kind of think that like it's maybe a 50-50 split between corruption and people with good intent, when really the number is probably closer to like 90 to 95% just evil scum of the earth. Terrible human beings working under some sort of outside interest.
Well, there has to be a reason it's this hopeless, right? I mean, there has to be. And then, I remember years ago discovering through different after evening events, watching the interactions between well-known short-in-the-pants Democrat mafia members and the ass-kissers who back then were Republicans, let alone what it's become now. It even appears to be sicker. And you know what was a tip to me? I have he became my very good friend. I didn't know him much. I was asked to fill in for him at an event we had. It's an event we have every year where we have different speakers come in and we celebrate the freedom and opportunity in Illinois or in the country. It's a wonderful event. And my friend Gary Rabine bought a room. Well, at the same time that happened, his wife had gotten very ill, and I did not know him. And he asked me to fill in on his room. So I did. And in me doing that, I had the pleasure of meeting him soon after, and we became very good friends. And when he was running for governor, he's like, well, I want to get their advice. So he hired some guys who I don't like at all. But he wanted to win. He wanted to.
Oh, you're talking about Pat Brady. I'm sorry.
No, yes, I'm talking about Pat Brady. But but you know what's funny about Gary's a legit best guy I know when it comes to honesty and trying to change things, not for himself, but for the people. And I think that's something that happens with guys who didn't think they were going to ever go into politics, whether it's him or Severino or you. And I think once you try it, and you might be optimistic and think, okay, everybody wants what I want. They want better for the average guy, the honest guy. And you realize when you get to this echelon that is kind of in charge of the body politic, they don't give a rip about the average guy, do they?
Oh, no, I agree, Mark. Because Gary's a perfect example, and he's with you in Florida now, is because what happens is a lot of people who are successful think that everything's bad, but their skills are transferable. Even President Trump, and I think we're seeing him doing a much better job in the second term, of realizing how bad these people are. And people like Gary, they see as a mark of that we can extract a bunch
Isn't that
of
the
money
truth?
on ads. And that event you were at, like I'm sure he put six figures into his campaign, including into a software that I talk about on my website pretty common called Cirrus, which like has really captured a lot of the GOP clubs. Gary Rabine put a lot of money into them, and he even accuses them of giving his data away the second that he moved on from them.
Well, he's so optimistic. And he feels, this is the problem with good people. My mother had this quality. My uncles had this quality. My grandparents had this quality. You think that because you might agree with somebody on one level, that they share your character. And then they share your intent and your caliber of what is right and wrong. And the reality is very few people in politics even understand those words and what it means to have a conscience and what it means to want the best for everybody. And, I saw that happening. And I love him. We became good friends. And I would say, Garrett, I'd like to think the reason he's in Florida is me, because I said you can't take it anymore. You can't take it, because that's the point it is. When you have this kind of futility wherever you turn, that it's never going to get better, it's just going to become degrees of worse that you're used to and you accept. To me, that's feudalism, right?
Yeah, and it's a factory. There's like so many good candidates I would love to shout out. That they convince them to put in six figures. Like, hey, take out a loan. We'll get you your money back. Through fundraising. And then you see them lose their families. I've seen a lot of former candidates end up divorced, leave the state, leave politics. And these are the people that mean well and are successful and community leaders. Those people don't tend to stick around.
So tell us a little bit about this.
To be the scum of the universe.
Well, right, and it's interesting because you raised a very good point. I was reading in your article today, which I cannot access right now, and I'm embarrassed to tell you that. But you were talking about this service that somebody has. You just mentioned it. What's called Cirrus, and then you were talking about how
Citizen Farmers United PAC, because they have a PAC too, which is part of their whole laundry service.
And then you were talking about how all these lawyers who are in charge of it, they can't raise any money. Every once in a while they'll have a score when it's like Ken Griffin or something, but for the most part, they don't raise any money. They don't attempt to. They have their own little fiefdoms going on, and that's why you never have a Republican running for mayor of Chicago, or you never have a decent candidate in Cook County. That's really the predicament, isn't it?
It is, and part of the why, and I talk about this a lot in my articles, is a lot of those same people will tend to have positions in the township, and they'll magically run unopposed. This is a very common thing. They'll magically run without an opponent. This just happened in Wheeling Township a little bit, where an area that's 60%, 70% Democrat will have a Republican run. Magically run unopposed, get a nice job, get paid $40,000. I think in Bloomingdale, the Republican GOP chair is getting $120K to be the assessor, running magically unopposed. Aaron Del Mar, now going to be the highway commissioner, he's going to get, I think, $20K a year. And so I think that's kind of part of the deal.
Wait, he's the highway commissioner?
Oh, yeah, of Palatine, which needs a highway commissioner. And he'll tell the public, like, hey, I'm doing such a good job. Don't you want a conservative as the highway commissioner of Palatine? When I make the argument that these positions don't need to exist.
Well,
and they're just money laundering services.
Yeah, of course they are. And the Illinois layers and layers and layers of government and the dual agencies and this is all very special. And I have a new friend, Jerry on the Western Burbs, who wants to talk about the muted plates. And what I mean by that is the municipal plates. And you get the gas card from Illinois, you get the gas card from the town. So it's not just the salary; it's the fringe benefits that come along with it, right?
Oh, big time. And the status and the whole, you can leverage it. These are all part-time jobs that you can leverage in your full-time jobs. To say, you can trust me. The assessor in Bloomingdale is also, I believe, a real estate broker. Oh, and so that's very appealing to be like, hey, I'll sell your house. And I'm the assessor for the township. So it's a pretty compelling case. A lot of them are leaning on that, and that trumps any political issue left or right.
It's fantastic. Now, Bloomingdale used to be Republican, right? Is it still?
It still is. It still is, but DuPage is turned left.
Oh, left. DuPage. Yeah. I think DuPage went in a circle. They're just out of the park. They make Melrose Parkers blush. And
I think it's by design, though. I really think it's by design.
Well, of course it is. Well, there's a lot of money in corruption. This is the thing. So you run for Congress, and you knew it was bad. And what was it like? I mean, did you have any interactions with any
John Dabrowski? Sorry, let's give him a shout out. John Dabrowski, congratulations on winning six figures on April 1st without an opponent. But when I ran for Congress, I was lucky being jaded into it, because I didn't fall for the money trap, where I did get donations from random people, from a lot of activists, and I totally embraced that this is going to be an opportunity to spread a message. And so I had a really good time on my campaign. And I got to kind of stay alive and keep, not ever have to fold. But that's because I ran in the 9th district where there's no real pressure against Jan Schakowsky.
Oh, right. You should have won that on looks alone.
That's how I felt. It's like, okay, if you guys want a 90-year-old communist, go for it.
That should have been on the campaign. I mean, it really is. So I'm wondering, now that you've got the site going on and you're making a lot of enemies. You're not doing the site to make friends. I'm curious
to make enemies. They're just coming naturally. Is the sad part?
Well, because you're revealing.
I published an article. I'm like, wait, why are you guys angry? And then I reread the article. I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Because you're really revealing just business hookups. You're revealing the underbelly that nobody wants you to see. This happened to me in my neighborhood when I first got married, and I bought a house in Elmwood Park because my wife and her family and all that. So I didn't know anything about Elmwood Park. Believe me, when you're from Melrose Park, Elmwood Park is a step up. You know what I mean? We were proud of Melrose Park, but it wasn't the same. It was better houses, better streets. So I was kind of excited about it, and I was introduced to the politics there. I said to myself, this is the scummiest. This is way dirtier, way more corrupt than what I left in Melrose Park, because at that time, there was a guy who was a weird, low-life scumbag guy named Pete Silvestri, who now is a Cook County commissioner. And he had that same scam where he was like a full lawyer who had like all the contracts with the CTA and did like all the negotiations of the advertising on the bus stop. I mean, all inside baseball and the video poker games and all the bulldog. It's just to me, they're the scum of the earth. So I can't even be around them. Now it's better a little bit. They got a guy in there that I can tolerate, but I don't have anything to do with it. I'm gone. And that's the conclusion I came to. I can't go along with it anymore. I can't deal with that nonsense bulldog, being robbed, being laughed at for being a pigeon, or they think I don't know what they're doing. Oh, I don't know the scams you have. So what I love that you're doing, you're at least letting the people know this is the business, this is the guy, this is the scam. That's what it is, right?
I'm removing the excuses. And now, because a lot of people just like to look the other way. Like the first article I ever wrote was about Nick Sauer, who is an up-and-coming young Republican guy that got indicted for catfishing other guys under a law that he revenge porn law.
I'm old, babe. I'm old. Catfishing other guys. Boy, I'm afraid to ask, but what the hell is that?
I'm afraid. That's why I don't even want to talk about it. Like he had a long-distance girlfriend, and he was soliciting naked pictures from her, and then he used those naked pictures to start an Instagram account and attract other guys, so that the guys can send him naked pictures.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and so he.
See, I didn't even notice, Max. I don't need this knowledge.
Move on. And so my first story was, I'm like, I wonder what he's up to now, because he's out of prison now. Slap on the wrist. Okay, shout out to Lake County justice system, because he was kind of a rhino Republican, so he definitely got treated.
Whatever happened to making money, getting in a good fist fight, and picking up a hot girl? Is that still in vogue?
Not in Illinois GOP. Like Grinder always crashes.
I don't know if I'm happy.
Convention.
I don't know if I'm happier that I'm married or I don't live in Illinois. I don't want to partake in this nonsense. It does explain a little look they all have in their face, though. They all look like they were. They don't look right to me. But
I was a rep one time, like on serious business. I later find out David Olson was a closet homosexual, and I'm like, wait, was he?
Not that there's anything wrong with
that. But there does. The way I see it is that the Illinois Republican Party kind of like the mafia had a lot of control in the beginning, and then kind of they call it the Velvet Mafia. A lot of closet homosexual Republicans.
And you know what I'm mad at, Max? One of my favorite relatives is no longer with me, and he was gay. And I loved him. He was an older man. When gay, was older. He's been dead for years. He was older. When gay would get you in a beef in some neighborhoods, and he never, ever hit it. He never hit who he was. And I loved him for it. And he was wicked smart, economist, professor. He had been friends with Milton Friedman and Milton Friedman's wife. One of the smartest guys I know. And I was proud of him. Proud to know him. He never hid who he was. To me, there's something wrong if you feel you have to hide yourself. I didn't care
that's my problem.
He was gay or not. Yeah,
there's some there are some open gay Republicans. Joe Felician Schomburg is openly gay.
I have no problem with that. Just tell me the truth.
Well, the catfishing is different. It's not even if he was heterosexual using people's photos without their consent. That's bad. But my first story was I was wondering. It's only been a year or two after that incident. I'm like, what's he up to? And he has a children's baseball charity where he's having events for foster kids and kids that might not necessarily have the most adult supervision. Wow. Put on the record. It got picked up by Politico. And I'm like, wow, there really is value to put this stuff up there. So,
and that's really what's happening to you. Your little site that you created is getting picked up by some big stuff. And you know, that wouldn't happen if it didn't have a certain amount of value. And it's not just being bombastic and risque. You're bringing value. I like the site very much. I really do. So go ahead, tell everybody where to go.
IllinoisRecord.com. IllinoisRecord.com. Please like, subscribe, share. We're really building our subscriber base. We just passed $1,000 in paid subscriptions. I'm so thankful for everyone that has paid for that service. I never even intended. I didn't even know that was up there. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sean, too.
No, I like it, Max, because I like when honest, decent people do good. I really do. And I like when you do good by not intending to give the kind of good you provide. And that really is the way I see it. I mean,
and we have some exciting articles coming up, too.
Wonderful.
It's long been in the works. So, yeah, definitely sign up. You're not going to want to miss it. To see how the CCP is involved in the LGOP. I'm really excited for that one.
All right. Well, listen, Max, I'm glad I took your number off air. Aren't you?
I can't believe you call me a friend. That's surreal. I've been a long-time listener, a long-time fan.
Thank you, babe.
Thank you for speaking up for the people.
No, I appreciate it.
And thank you to listeners, too.
Thank you, Max. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself.
You too. Thanks.
All right. Jerry, Western Burbs.
Sean, enjoying the tone of the show tonight. This is good. A lot of information.
Thank you, Jerry.
Hey, with the muted license plates, one of these organizations that has legal counsel, just friend of the court, equal protection under the law. Wouldn't that apply in something like this?
You know, Jerry, there's a couple ways they have muted, right? It's not that, okay, my name is Joe Montanaz and my plate is muted. What they have are state plates, municipal plates, city plates, county plates. So there's no specific answer of it's not registered the way it is to me and you.
Right. It doesn't go to one individual, but
it's like the city of Chicago. You remember each mayor. I don't care if it's Lightfoot or Emanuel or Johnson. I mean, you're talking hundreds of thousands in red light cameras and speeding tickets. And who pays them? You know what I mean?
Well, when you're giving the migrants cars out of the city pound.
Yeah, you'd be lucky it doesn't come up to Jerry in the Western Burbs. You're lucky you're not on one of those Buicks. Could be worse.
Well, just the migrant thing, Sean, I tell you what, people are much more polite driving around the city.
Yeah, well, listen, I can't wait to see you come down by me. At least in Florida, they get arrested. Thank you very much. Fast as Sean radio, huh? Let's go. You kidding me? We blew through that half hour? All right, we'll be back as soon as possible. Sorry if I didn't get to you, but having too much fun. We'll be back.
Okay, that's IllinoisRecord.com with Max Rice. Go to IllinoisRecord.com to subscribe for more right now.